Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackle. Tonight, we're joined by Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry to talk about an assortment of issues going on in New Orleans and the metro area. First off, thank you for being here, Mr. Landry.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's just jump right to it right out the gate. For about a year, you had a group of officers, a task force from LBI, from your office in New Orleans trying to fight crime. You pulled that back recently. Why is that?
Well, you know, it's like anything else. You know, if you welcome in a home, you tend to go there a lot often. But when someone says, no, you're just not welcome, you don't go. And of course, you know, it is disappointing because, you know, the mayor, for some reason, doesn't welcome our involvement or our participation in trying to solve what we said last year was going to be a problem and what we're seeing come to fruition, and that is a violent crime epidemic in this city that is actually victimizing citizens in this city.
Why do you think the mayor and the police chief, who was appointed by the mayor, who has sent you letters talking about this task force, he was also not a fan of it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they resisted the help? And did politics play a role in it? Because obviously you're a Republican, the mayor a Democrat.
Well, you know, that's the sad part about it is that crime, when someone goes and victimizes you, they don't ask, well, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican before they either shoot you, rob you, or beat you up. So no, but I think from the mayor's perspective, it's pure politics. I mean, that's the only thing that I can glean out of it. And it really is disappointing and a shame. You know, even to this day, a year or so later, he's never returned our phone calls, never agreed to meet with us, wouldn't visit with us on these issues. And yet today we've seen, when you look at where we started and where we are today, violent crime is up and people are dying in the city.
You realize that his defense is it's politics on your part. You're well aware that he's used that line as well, too.
Well, I know, but he doesn't have any facts to support that. He's certainly welcome to his opinion, but not the facts. The facts of the matter is that when we started and we said that crime was getting ready to get out of control in this city, what we see today is exactly what we've said. And he has taken no fundamental steps in trying to alleviate that problem.
Louisiana's junior senator, John Kennedy, suggested a method last week. Stop and frisk is what he threw out there. This has proved to be ineffective in some cities, including New York City, where they don't do it anymore. What do you think of that policy that he threw out there, which New Orleans appears to be resistant to? We have a consent decree that bars it basically right now. What do you think about the stop and frisk policy tossed out by Senator Kennedy?
Well, first of all, I think it's important for everyone out there to understand that stop and frisk is not unconstitutional. Okay, it certainly is a tool under which law enforcement officers should have the ability to use. We've said all along, especially after we ran our task force, went through some operations in the city, assessed the problem, not only in the quarter, not only in the CBD, but in neighborhoods surrounding it, that it's a multi-dimensional approach. We have to get the bad people off the street, and then we have to backfill into that. So yes, stop and frisk should absolutely be a part of the arsenal that law enforcement officers use in order to combat crime.
But do you understand how some people can make the argument that they feel it leads to racial profiling, it leads to unfair profiling of people who are on the streets in the city of New Orleans?
Well, guess what? If I have to choose between keeping the residents of the city of New Orleans safe and making sure that another mother doesn't have to bury their son or their daughter or their sister or their cousin, then guess what? I am willing, as a law enforcement officer, to understand that there are limitations. Look, every one of our officers that were involved in the task force that we started over a year ago went through the FBI's color of law training. Okay, we are all trained in order to understand what the law allows us and doesn't allow us to do. And anytime officers operate inside that law, they should not have tools, vital tools necessary for proactive law enforcement taken away from them. When they do, we see what happens. Criminals take advantage of that. Crime goes up.
There's a mayor's race in the city of New Orleans. It's coming up. We're in the heart of a political season right now. You're no stranger to running for elected office, Congress, and now Attorney General. Are you watching this mayor's race very closely? Because at least one of the candidates has said she would be open to looking at any option to keep New Orleans safe. Given the fact and the fighting that you've done with the current mayor, Mitch Landrieu, are you looking forward to this upcoming election and following anybody in particular?
Well, if I can compare it, I can tell you she is like all the women I know. She's smart. She knows that one of the biggest obstacles for making sure that New Orleans can grow and that we got great jobs here in this city is to do something about crime. And so I would tell you that her comments were very welcomed.
Does the consent decree that New Orleans police officers have to adhere to, that's very expensive, need to go. There's been chatter right now that it's handcuffing the police
Oh,
department.
it absolutely. It creates a virtual handcuff. Oh, look, first of all, it's important to note that there are great men and women in the NOPD force, okay? They're out there every day putting their lives on the line, trying to do their job. They're undermanned, right? And now they have a policy that puts virtual handcuffs on them in order to be able to properly police this city. So yes, the consent decree is extremely problematic. We've said it from the beginning. We've offered, that's one of the things we wanted to talk to the mayor about, that he would not even engage us in, is that, listen, how can we try to either modify it or get the city out from underneath it?
But is it bigger than the city of New Orleans? This is obviously a federal decision that's monitored by a federal judge in Susie Morgan. Is it you having to lobby Jeff Sessions? How do you go through these steps of trying to get rid of the consent decree?
Well,
right now?
it's like any solution when you have a problem, especially in government. It takes a team effort. I think that General Sessions has said that he is concerned about some of the consent decrees around the country. In fact, when you look at cities that are under consent decrees, right, you see that they're having problems with crime. And so we believe we could come in and work partnering with the federal government. But again, it would be nice to have the city at the table as well, saying, you know what, we recognize that. In fact, if you speak to the head of the police union here, he'd tell you that, because I've spoken to him, that guess what? The consent decree is problematic. It's hurting retention and it's hurting recruitment.
Let's turn the page and talk about opioid addiction. A lot of money came into Louisiana recently, just last week, to help prevent and also stop the dealing and the illegal distribution of heroin and all these opioids. Where does your office stand on that? What can you do to make sure that this epidemic, because that's what it is right now in all these states, including Louisiana, continues to go down and not up, and overdose deaths go down?
Well, look, we know that it's an epidemic when more people are dying from opioid-induced deaths than dying in car wrecks around the country. We've made that point time and time again. Just several months ago, we did a press release where we settled a case that I inherited from the prior Attorney General. In return, instead of taking cash, we took medical product, naloxone, that we're going to distribute to law enforcement agencies around the state to give them an aid in saving lives and saving people who are in opioid-induced coma. That's one step. Rehabilitation is another step. Proper law enforcement and putting the dealers in jail is another.
Operation Broken Heart, it focuses on child predators. It's something that's been a big initiative of your office. If you can tell us what that's about and how it impacts this area.
Yeah, so Operation Broken Heart was an operation that we ran, again, in conjunction with other law enforcement agencies, including federal agencies. It's the 4th year that we've run it. We've got a great cyber crimes unit. We go out there and target people who are preying on children. And I mean, when you think about it, that's just got to be one of the lowest forms. And we want to make sure that we take those people off the streets and put them where they belong, in jail.
Is it working in this area?
It is. I mean, look, I think that every time you take one person who is preying on a child off the street, that's a great day.
Let's talk about the litigation that you're involved with the governor. It's been well documented right now. Last spring, in February, I should say last winter, New Orleans reaped the benefits of an NBA All-Star game because they had a very controversial LGBT law that was passed in North Carolina. Are you fearful that the same thing could happen to Louisiana if you win this fight with the governor that you're in right now?
No, not at all, because if the facts are laid out there, this has nothing to do with what happened in North Carolina.
But sometimes perception is reality, though.
Well, but we shouldn't make perception reality, because it should be about the truth, right? It should be about what is actually taking place. The fact is that we took the governor to court because he has overreached. He has overstepped his authority in a place that squarely is the legislative's prerogative. And of course, you can't just say, well, just because of this particular issue and someone may perceive it a particular way, we're going to excuse that particular type of conduct. It's why we're dealing with the crime problem out here. People say, well, you know what? We don't have to worry about people who come across the border illegally because, you know, they're here to help. Guess what? We have a proper way that we deal with immigration in this country. We welcome people, but there's a process. Every time there's a process, it needs to be followed. It's about the rule of law. That's what the suit was always about.
Do you think this gets done anytime soon, or do you think this just sticks in the court system for weeks, months, if not years?
Well, you know, we have a hearing in August at the First Circuit Court of Appeals. We believe that we're going to win, just like we won at the district level. I mean, if we win at the circuit level, That's a great question to ask the governor, whether he wants to keep litigating the issue.
Speaking of the governor's office, you're not naive to politics as well as political rumors. You were a congressman that represented Southwest Louisiana. You're now the Attorney General for the entire state of Louisiana. A lot of chatter about you possibly being a candidate for governor in 2019. I know we are a long way from that, but is that something that could interest you as we get closer to that election?
Well, you know what's interesting about that question is I get it a lot. And the fact is that a lot of people are trying to speculate on who's running for governor. I don't know. Maybe they don't think the governor's doing a good job. I haven't heard anyone speculating running against me for Attorney General. So, you know, I think we're doing a great job. Again, when I was in Congress, I never said, you know what, I'm taking this job and I'm doing it so that I could be the Attorney General. I'm focused on doing the job that the citizens of Louisiana elected me to do, and that is to be their Attorney General over the course of the next 3 years.
So not a yes or no, but maybe. How about that?
Well, I like my job.
All right, Attorney General Jeff Landry, we appreciate your time. I'm Travers Mackel. That's all for the hot seat. Juliana, let's send it back to you at the news desk.